Welcome to my Wednesday morning coffee. This is going to be a video that covers the October sales, and this is going to cover it from the perspective of air recipe. So the underlying assumption going into this is you want to grind, you want planes that are good in air SB, and you're not really kind of focused on RB. Now, with that being said, disclaimer: the SB economy is not all that great for grinding for the most part, so you probably do want to pay attention to some of the RB buying guides and make that as a consideration before you start picking up everything I recommend. Now, my recommendation is going to be based solely on whether or not it's good in the game and whether or not it is good at grinding and whether or not it would help ease some of your pain, because some of the stuff is painful. Some of the stuff is going to be a little bit controversial because I'm going to go through here and I'm going to recommend some stuff that in all honesty, is overpowered. I'm going to say that's overpowered, and people are like, well, I'm going to buy it because it's overpowered. I'm like, well, it does kind of make the game worse for everyone else, but I am going to give you the tools you need to make, an educated decision. Anyways, starting with the USA, we'll start with the premiums. Generally speaking, rank 1, don't really pay much attention to it. Most of the stuff here is just like the doorbusters. These are what you spend your free GE on to get the experience of buying things. So generally speaking, rank 1 stuff, don't recommend it. Rank 2 is kind of where SB starts to pick up in player population. Rank 2, rank 3, and rank 4 have a pretty dedicated prop population, so you can get some of these planes, and you'll probably play them quite often. Now, our first two rank 2s, Key 43 and Key 61, between these two, they're both solid pickups. The Key 61 is one of those planes that everyone says is overpowered, and at 3.3, I tend to agree with it. It is very, very brain dead to use, and it does round out kind of like your American tree here with like a turn fighter that is very, very good at doing it. The Key 43 is better at turn fighting, but you have less guns, less speed, a little bit more of a quirky flight model, I think. So the Key 61B, very easy pickup. Key 43, if you really like Key 43s, I guess, sure, but easy pickup, Key 61. Moving on to rank 3, A6M2. Kind of fits the same bill as the Key 61, but it's an A6 instead of a Key. The Key 61s dive faster. They are faster, so they can actually close the distance on people that are trying to run away a little bit more reliably. A6Ms are a little bit more forgiving, pretty much just outturn everything very easily. The A6M2 is probably the most competitive Zero for its tier, but I mean, if you already picked up the Key 61, the A6M2 isn't really a hard sell. And then we finally get down to the first thing that's a hard recommend, because this thing is completely skippable. It's a boat. Nobody cares. This thing is a free kill. But the XP55 at 3.0 is one of the most broken planes in the game. It is extremely brain dead. Basically does a 14G turn, retains energy very well. Basically on par with a Yak 3 that's at 4.7 in Sim at 3.0. The only thing that's quirky about it, it does have weird stall control. So for this one, I would recommend you guys test out in test flight. Decide if you like it, but performance-wise, this thing is basically untouchable at 3.0, and you can take it all the way up to 6, and it'll be fine. You can play this any day of the week. Absolutely, positively brain dead. Move on to our next two. So between the XP50, the BF-109, F4, people in Sim hate captured planes. I don't really care because all these tech trees have so much cross-population it doesn't matter to me. But between these two, you can kind of look at these as the same plane, because in Sim, they kind of do more or less the same thing. You don't have the air spawn in Sim like you do in RB with the XP50. The 109 F4 does have a little bit more ammo. It does shoot a little bit slower, but the XP50 is a little bit easier to fly. Between these two, it really comes down to personal preference. I like the 109 F4s better than the XP50. The XP50 is a little bit better performance-wise, and it's going to be better performance the higher up in altitude you get. But either one of these is a solid pickup, but the XP55 exists. Personally, I go with the F4, but really this is a coin toss. Moving down to rank 4, XA38. I know this plane is popular with some people in ground RB. I think it's probably pretty solid as a ground attacker. I don't do a lot of ground attacking, so I can't say that this is a very, very solid recommend, but it is my understanding is a pretty decent plane. Now, moving down to the P51s. This thing, never ever buy this thing. This thing is dookie, garbage, not good, terrible. In RB, this thing is 4.3. In SB, it's 5.0, and it's running a lower manifold pressure than the P51D10. The P51D10, on the other hand, if it was on sale, if it currently is, I don't think that it is. I think this is one that only comes up every once in a while. This is a really solid 5.0. If you have the chance to get this, you have the chance to get it on sale, get it. Very easy pickup. P47M, neither of these have aged really well. What they've done is they have changed the way the engine works, where basically you have the same power as a D28 at low altitude, and then you gain more power the higher you go. It is no longer just a straight upgrade over the regular P47s, and it's at 5.7 and an SB. The similar P47, the highest performing P47s, are at 4.3, or they're all the way down to 3.7 in the case of the Italian P47D30 or the Chinese one. So these ones, don't recommend them unless you're just a P47 connoisseur. The 190s in sim are very mediocre. Really, the only two good ones are going to be the two early ones, like the 4.0 A4 and the 3.3 A1. All of the other ones are solidly mid. This one is no different at 5.3. There's really no persuasive reason to buy this except it looks cool. You do have a bunch of cannons. If you do like the 190s, this is an okay pickup. But if you're just getting into the game, not really a hard sell on this one. On the other hand, Spitfire LF9 at 5.0, one of the best planes of the game, one of the has the highest potential, but it's also one of the quirkiest to fly. The Spitfires have this flight model where you pull back on your stick, and then you pull back, you set your AOA, and then you kind of got to keep it from tipping over. So they're kind of unstable, kind of wonky to fly. Only having 240 rounds of 20 mil is can be challenging. But if you do want a plane that you can grief people with and props, the LF9, this is a really, really solid pickup. And then we move down to the FA9B. This thing did not age all that well. I don't recommend this thing. Some people like this, but I think people mainly played this when it was a lot better in the past. Personally, I'm not going for it. I don't think you should either. The A2D1, on the other hand, this is a solid grinder at 7.0. It's technically a prop. It's a fast prop. It's one of the best climbing props in the game. I think it technically might be the best climbing one. You get a bunch of bombs. If you play ground, this might be really good. If you're grinding in 7.0, it is also probably pretty solid. Nothing I recommend. It's not really a tier I play a lot. But if you really want to kind of get through this area quickly, this might be a solid pickup. But 7.0 in sim is not very popular with people that aren't just mindlessly grinding. We move down here to our pack stuff. A4 early. This is an A4. I wouldn't buy this. Anyways, it's not a pack. This is a squadron vehicle, but same thing. The A10, the F5C, the Tram, and the F4S are kind of all kind of fit the same niche of grind through everything. The A10, the early one, you get two 9Ls. It's a 10.7. You do have reasonably good ground attacking ordnance. I don't know if it has the it has AGM 65Bs. It doesn't have the Gs, I don't think. But overall, you can kind of go around on ground battles or on in air battles and attack ground battles, and you can LARP in this thing. So it is kind of fun. Not really going to go out of my way to buy this thing. On the other hand, the F5C, this is brain dead easy pickup at 10.7. You're going to get kills in this thing. It basically fills the same niche as the Key 61. You have a plane with good guns, and if anyone is turn fighting, you come in third party and you get kills pretty easily. A6E Tram, this is just a bomb bus, but you do get 9Ls at 10.7. You can probably find kills with them. F4S, don't recommend this at 12.0. This thing gets farmed at 13.0 games, 12.7 games, and 11 to 12.0. It's probably okay, but this tier, everyone's bombing, everyone's doing nothing. Don't recommend this as much. F20, on the other hand, probably a reasonably solid pickup at 12.7 because you do have most of the days I think that this thing is playing. It's going to be fighting 13.0 and lower, and this thing has a pretty reasonably solid flight model. You do have 6 AIM-9Ls. You can get 2 AIM-7Fs, but I do recommend running 6 9Ls, and this one is just like the other F5s. You fly around at supersonic speed, and you shoot at things. This is basically a side grade to an F-16A at the same tier. with a, I think this one has a better radar. I think this has the same radar as the F-18. So you do have TWS, so you do have a little bit more situational awareness. So if this is on sale and you just want to get through the US tech tree and you want to play sim, this is probably a solid pickup. This is also going to be a solid pickup. Moving on to Germany, our next major nation that's not going to get a new top tier in the next patch, according to all the leaks. Rank 1, skip. All of this stuff here, basically skip. This is good. This is really good at 3.3. This is a boat. It does boat things. If you like bomber gameplay in sim, you want to do bomber formations, this thing looks cool, maybe pick it up. The P-47s, this is the old one, this is the new one. The old one is better than the new one, but the new one is the worst P-47 in the game at 3.7. Do not recommend, do not buy, do not pass go. There are better options. Once again, all the P-47s come with the caveat of if you really like P-47s, I guess. I don't recommend it. TA-154, this plane is very, very mid at 4.0, but it's one of those planes that's like mid-good in the fact that like it looks cool, it has a cool paint job, it has good guns, but you do get focused by a couple people, you get ran down, you get outturned. So if you like it, if you like the way it looks, it's okay. Moving down to the 190A5, problem is there's too many 190s, they're all in the German tech tree, and this is basically the same plane as these ones over here, but is worse in so far as the tier, except it's the same tier as the A5U2, and you get a torpedo, and you get WEP that lasts longer because they didn't patch this flight model to overheat. So it might be the best 4.7 190, but that's not saying a lot. Honestly, like just play the A4 or play the A1 or play the F8, because I think the F8 is basically the same thing, but better at a lower BR. Let's look down here. They have folded some of this stuff, so I forget how it's organized, but I swear I will find the F8. I'm probably staring at it too. So the F8 is 4.3, so yeah, between this and this, I would play this over this. And if you were like, I wanted a Talisman of 190, I'd probably Talisman this one, or the A4, or even the A1. Moving even further down, we got the DO 335, the B2. This is a really fun plane in RB for head-onning everything. This is a really fun plane to fly if you want to go grief the Crab Nation bomber formation. Otherwise, it's pretty skippable. This is one of the worst cockpits in the game. You don't have any rear visibility, and your front visibility is kind of like staring through a drinking straw. So test fly this thing. I like it sometimes, but at 5.7, you're not going to have as great of a time as you think you are unless you just like really like mid-mobiles. And I'm a mid-mobile connoisseur, so this one's okay. But for general populace, skip it. JU-288, bomber, consistent grind. You probably already have this thing because of how consistent it is. There's nothing really to say. It griefs in sim is even harder than it does in RB, and you can just kind of like use it as a turret fighter too. Like just go around and use the turrets in third-person view and grief everyone. Very, very annoying to deal with. I kind of like avoid playing against these things. Like they're not fun to fight. But if you want consistent SL grinding and RP grinding in sim, or at least as consistent as it can be, this is easy pickup. Move down Squadron 262, skip. This thing is the same as the Tech Tree one, but it's heavier. It has good guns, but at 7.0, the 262s are very, very bad. Like, they're just not good. The only good 262, I think, in the game by BR is probably the 6.7 ones, and that's only on the 6.7 days. G91R4, 9.0. This is actually a pretty decent pickup because usually Germany will be paired with Italy because the Ariete is just a better 9.0. It is the best 9.0 of the game. But if you're fighting with the Ariete on your team, you can kind of avoid being griefed by it. And the G91s are like pretty solid, middle of the road planes. Good AOA, and I think two of these get AIM-9Bs, and AIM-9Bs in SB are a lot more useful, provide a lot more utility value than 9Bs do in RB. So the G91R4, in this case, it's an okay pickup. Hunter F58, another pretty easy pickup, I think. If I was going to play a lot of this tier, I think the Hunter F58 is probably one of the best hunters in the game, or probably is the best hunter, because two things it has. These are AIM-9Js, which are, for this tier, pretty good, but it also has countermeasures. And because it has countermeasures and it has 60 of them, it is going to still be a lot more viable in those up tiers, and it's going to be a lot more viable against like planes like the Harriers that are wandering around with AIM-9Gs that can kind of grief you from rear aspect in the other hunters. So this is the best hunter, I think. It is worth the pickup, and it's worth playing. The Tornado, the Idiots, don't buy the Idiots. These are bad. This is basically a MiG-21 BIS. It's okay. I don't think it gets anything special. You get R13s, you get R60Ms. It's basically a premium BIS. And this is going to probably be a solid grinder to get to the German tech tree. But also, why? These are your two best planes right now, and you're not getting anything in the next patch. But maybe the patch after next, you get an F-18. Maybe. Not really in a hurry to grind this one out, though. Moving on to the Soviet Union. Skip rank 1, go to rank 2. This is a P-40. This is a Hurricane. And I-153. That's what I got to say about those. These are all like, they're planes that exist. The I-16s are, my understanding, basically unflyable in sim, so don't recommend this. This, at 3.0, is still going to be a good pickup, but the 39K is kind of the worst of the 3.0, like P-39s. The P-39N is better. The Prokrushkins, when it comes up, is better, but Prokrushkins is one of those planes that only comes up like the anniversary of the guy's birth, like once a year. So, if you want to play 3.0, this is like is an okay, solid pickup. But the issue with this plane is you have other planes that kind of like this tier, like the Yak-1B. This is a really solid 3.3 that you can kind of get through this tier pretty quickly. So if you're trying to grind, not gonna strongly recommend this one, but it's gonna be reasonable. It's gonna be pretty cheap. Moving on to rank 3, Bomber, good pickup, bad pickup, Bomber, and that's an event plane. So between these two, at 3.7, this is a better plane than this. The D-27 is not a D-28, it is a D-25, lower engine power than any of the D-28 or D-30 variants at the same BR. It does have the bubble canopy, so if you're going to pick up a premium P-47 because you want a premium P-47, this is pretty good. But also at rank 3, you do have a lot of like really solid planes in the Soviet tech tree, like the Yak-9s. Some people like these early ones with the bigger guns. I've not used them at all. But the Yak-3 and the Yak-9U, these are really strong at 4.7 and 5.0, with the only kind of exception being things like the LF-9, I think, can kind of grief you if they're good. This plane is good, and this plane is good. So everything in this line here is good. If you want to play this tier a lot and you want to talisman something, I would talisman Yak-3, LA-7, not really the I-185. This plane is fast, good guns, but turns kind of bad. It's basically like a 190 without the flaps. So don't recommend this. But you have good options here. So this is not really a pickup unless you play probably ground SB, because then you can go bomb things, I think. So look here, let's double check just to be sure. Yeah, we get bombs. So this might be a good ground attacker. Moving on, rank 4, quirky ground attacker, boat with good guns. You just turret fighter in this thing. This is not worth the pickup because it's 6.3. It's very mediocre, and it's going to fight in that JU-288 tier most of the time. And this is not a popular BR. And the problem with this plane is this plane over here, the Yak-3U, exists at 6.0 and is just better in every single way except for top speed at kind of 4,000 to 5,000 meters. And then above 5,000 meters is actually faster. So this plane's better. So if you're going to talisman something for a prop at this tier, the Yak-3U is like one of the best, if not the best, 6.0 in the game. Moving on to here, Su-11. This is still 7.0 in sim. This is pay to win. You should buy this if you want like one of the easiest grinds. Do recommend test fly it, gun position, guns, decide whether or not you actually want to play this tier. But this is going to be really, really brain dead. Moving on, MiG-15 Bissish. This is a solid pickup in RB. In SB, it doesn't really matter because the 15 bis is the same BR. You're not getting a lower BR step. You're not getting anything for this. And the 15s are quirky, weird to fly at a BR that's like more or less dead most of the time. MiG-17 ass. If this is on sale, I do kind of recommend this if you like MiG-17s. If you do, test fly it, get used to the cockpit. But the 17 AS is the same as the 17, but it does get R3S, which is just name 9B equivalent, and it does provide a good bit of utility. It is the old version of pay to win, where you had the same thing, but you got a shitty missile that could be easily avoided. But you do have utility, and this is a MiG-17, so it's cool and fun if you like MiG-17s. Yak-38 missile boat at 9.3. You fly around, you grief people with R60s that don't have flares, but you have really miserable flight model, really miserable like flight performance as far as turn goes, but you are pretty quick at 9.3. This will be able to get consistent kills, but it's going to be really boring. This one, MiG-21, this is like a MiG-21, but it's bad. Your gun is the Gussie, your missile is the R3S. I would skip this one. I would not buy this. You're not going to have fun in this. On the other hand, you finally get two good pickups here. If these are on sale as packs, MiG-23ML and SU-39 are both solid. The 23ML, with the fact that it went down to 11.3, has a day where it gets to Seal Club now, and even on the days where it's bad, it'll go up to potentially up to 12.3, but I don't think that there's a 12.3 top-end day, so most of these days it's playing Conceal Club. SU-39 kind of fills the same niche as the A10C, a little bit higher BR. It's a kind of a better one for like the rest of the game. This plane has infrared countermeasures. It has like a little laser scrambler in the back, so this thing kind of defeats IR missiles. Brain dead, and if you want to ground attack LARP, this is a solid pickup. Moving on to the British, and we skip all of Britain because it's Britain. No, we'll go rank 1, skip. Everything here is basically skippable. Corsair is good. This one is probably good. I don't play the low-tier Spitfires. I don't play the low-tier Corsair. This is probably one of the best ones, but the American one might be a little bit different, better, because the wings aren't clipped. So this one should be a little bit faster, roll a little bit better, but retain energy a little bit worse. If you want to grief people at low tiers, this is a good one. But you also have good low-tier grief mobiles like the Typhoon Mark 1A. So not really a persuasive option for me to pick this up, but if you like Corsairs, this is a good one. And this is a good RB plane that's kind of busted as hell too. Now we move down to rank 3, and we've got 1, 2, 3 pickups, and here's the ranking for them. This is number 1. The Mustang Mark 1A is solid at 4.0. This is number 2. This is solid at 3.7. It is an F6F. Basically identical to the American one with a better looking camo scheme. And this one is a P-47, and it's one of the worst P-47s next to the German one because it's the Razorback, low engine power, and it has a prop that I think is like slightly worse than the normal one. So don't really pick this one up. It might be equivalent to the D-22, but at 3.7, you are fighting P-47 D-30s at the same BR. Not worth the pickup. MB5 4.7, this is one of the most broken planes in the game when it's at 4.7, and then if you move it up to 5.7, it gets really kind of meh. This is a very, very hit-and-run plane. This has kind of a cult following amongst stat padders. If you want a stat pad, you can get this one. Counter-rotating props are super easy to fly in sim. You don't have any prop torque because it cancels out. So this is a pretty easy recommendation. Hornet Mark 1, kind of good performance, bad ergonomics, kind of wonky to aim from my understanding. And the Hornet Mark III is the same BR, has 150 octane, has more performance, is better. But the Hornet Mark 1 at 5.7 back in the day, when this and this were the same thing, this was not lacking in climb performance. This did not lack performance anyways when it was like worse, and this is just a worse version, and this is basically what it used to be. So it's still going to be good at 5.7, but there's a lot of really, really good, strong planes at 5.7, so I'm not really going to recommend this one too hard. Medium Mark 8, this is going to be a solid 8.0. If you like turn-fighting jets, this one's like reasonably quick. Turns good, just kind of like a good all-rounder. Some people really like this. I I have mixed feelings on it. I just think it's like a solid 8.0. It's a just generic solid 8.0. Sea Vixen 8.3. You just kind of fly around with red tops and you grief bombers. That's the gameplay style. Nothing can touch you. You don't take head-ons because you don't have guns. Very easy recommendation if you just want to like turn your brain off and grind through the tech tree. Harrier GR1, this plane has not aged all that well. Same thing with the Hunter FGA9. At 9.7, these are kind of mid. The SRAMs they're okay if you could just go around and find flareless planes at 9.7 down to 8.7 and shoot SRAMs at them. In higher tiers, you're going to have things that outrun you, things that outturn you, and you're going to be kind of a struggle bus. A lot of people don't like this one. It's probably consistent anyways, just because if you just recognize it, I just find something, get close to it with an SRAM, push a button, and get a kill. It'll work. But at the same time, if you're going to do that, I think the Hunter F6 might have a better flight model for kind of doing the same thing. Would I recommend talismaning this? No. If you're going to talisman a Hunter, if you're going to like play a premium Hunter, the German one's going to be better because it has flares. The Lightnings, not recommending. None of this stuff here is all that special. The Scimitar is popular with people that like hit and run gameplay. At 8.7, it's kind of untouchable. If you wanted to talisman something, you could probably talisman the Scimitar if you like that kind of gameplay. These planes here, don't play them. The GR3, I think, ends up being better than the GR1 because it's a lower tier. And I think it has 9G. So 9G is a very good, strong missile at 9.3. You can grief people with this. So in all honesty, if you think this might be good, get this thing and talisman it, turn your brain off, and shoot 9Gs at things as a SAM site. Don't pick. This thing's garbage. It's not very fun to fly. It's just kind of like a worse F4S at the same tier. This is just going to be 12.0 down is grinding tier. 12.0 up is you're getting farm tier. You're not going to learn anything using this thing. It's just kind of, it's a plane that exists. And then you get down to the Bison, the year of the Bison. This is a solid pickup. You're a MiG-21 with R-73s and R-27Rs. And but that's pretty good. On 12.3 days, when you do get your down tier day, whenever it happens, this thing's pretty solid. Moving on to the Empire of Japan, or just Japan as we call it these days. Skip one. This is the best turning plane in the game next to this one, but I mean, like, why bother? You can just get this one. All this other stuff is basically these two. The Key 44s have a following at 2.3. They're pretty fast. They climb pretty good. They have really good performance. Between these two, I'm going to recommend this one over this one just because this has high velocity guns. This thing has 40 millimeter meme grenade launchers. And then we get to these two over here. These two are going to be solid pickups. 2.7, 109E7, and the F4U1A. These can help kind of round out the low-tier Japanese stuff with getting stuff that's a little bit faster, mainly the Corsair. But the E7 it's a 109. If you like 109s, if you like these early 109s, it's going to be solid. This is a boat, and you fly around and you do boat things. Key 96, pretty solid for a heavy fighter, probably one of the better 3.7 heavy fighters in the game. You get a 37, you get 20s. You turn really good. Your speed's okay, middle of the road. If you want to play a heavy fighter, this is a solid pickup if it's still available. I don't know if this got removed from the store. It might have. P51C, another solid pickup. It does the same thing as this, and it helps round out your Japanese lineup where you can take something that's fast. If everyone's running away, you have something that can run them down. And if you pair this up with zeros, you can run people down. They have to turn with you, and then the zero catches them and it kills them. So this is something to round out your Japanese tree. I recommend the 51C over the 1A just because the 51C is a higher tier. It's going to get more rewards, but the cockpit is also just better. This thing has limited WEP, but at 3.3, it's still really fast. But if you're fighting US, they also have stuff that's just as fast, so you can be forced to learn how to dogfight in this thing too. This thing also has, between this has 650s, this has 4, but this has the late war tracer belts. Late war tracer belts are far more reliable at getting kills than the early war tracer belts and the early war belts. So this is easy pickup, good. This is bad. I don't recommend this. The Key 61s already exist. This is just a worse Key 61. And some people probably like it. Some people will probably flame me in the comments, but I don't recommend this one. B-17, it's a bomber. Between all of this stuff down here, all of this stuff is like, if this is a solid pickup, this is an okay pickup, this is going to be a solid pickup. This is a Key 61, but now it has MG151s, and I think it has like slightly better flight performance, although I might be wrong on that. I'm not going to check it. I'm not going to correct myself, because it's a Key 61. You turn your brain off, you come in, and you frag things. People have to avoid you. People do not like fighting Key 61s. This is a 190. This kind of comes with the same caveats as the other 190s. At 4.7, the A5s are very mid. They're actually, I just say they're bad, to be honest. J2M5, the J2M2 exists. It's at 3.7. You can just put a talisman on that if you really want to like fly a grief wheel. This is disgusting. This is well balanced, but the 30 mils with the nerfs to the velocity, with the nerfs to the damage, are not the rail guns they used to be. Key 87, this is just a high altitude fighter. It's not good. Skippable, completely skippable. And we get the F86, the F40, the Jazdiff. The Jazdiff suffers from always fighting the Ariete, and being at 9.3, it's okay, but it's mid. If you want to play this tier, if you want to have AIM-9Bs, if you want to have like a pretty good saber, it's okay. With that being said, I have a talisman on the F30. This is like a free talisman I got, and this is a better plane for the tier than this thing, because this can dodge the Ariete. This can play 8.7 to 7.7, and on 8.7 days, it is very, very, very good. And this thing on 8.3 to 9.3 days is still going to be pretty, like, run-of-the-mill average. The only real difference between this one and this one here are the wings are longer. It has wing slats, so it's going to be better at lower speeds, but the roll is going to be a little bit worse. This one is the same as the premium one. It just looks better, and it has 9Bs. Same thing with this one. This one also has 9Bs, so it doesn't really matter. So with all that being said, this is good. Key 200 at 8.0, if you like the rocket plane gameplay, you might put a talisman on it. You can just kind of grief people with it. The R2Y2s are also pretty goog. At 7.3, 6.3, 7.3, 4 of the 30 mils, even though they're mid now, 4 of them is still really solid. Kika, you aim with a stick. That's all I'll say about that one. And then we get down to our top tier premiums. We got the F5E Fuck You 2 and the F4EJ80TW. This is okay now that it's 10.7, but it is a hard wing F4E with F4E like equipment. It's going to be worse than the American F4E. It's going to be worse than the current S2000. This is a really solid, easy pickup at 11.7. It's not under tiered. It's correctly tiered, but you have better missiles. You have a HUD. You're still an F5E, but you can carry AIM-9P4s, which are all aspect AIM-9Ps, and you can carry Python 3. So you do have 4 good missiles as opposed to 2 good missiles on the regular F5E, but you do take a hit in the BR, but you also do gain like a good looking paint job, and like on the days that you're down tiered, you're gonna be pretty damn competitive still. This is one of everyone's favorite planes, so one of the planes of all time. You should pick this one up. Although I don't think it's on sale though. I mean, it doesn't look like it. Yeah, it's not on sale, so don't pick it up. Moving through all this other crap, we go to China. China has the easiest pickup in the game, the Key 84 coat 5.0. This thing's busted, disgusting, brain dead. A6M2 does A6M2 things. If you like A6Ms, it's good. It does kind of the opposite of what the Key 61 does for, or the Key 61 does for the American tree, or it does for the, brain hurty. Basically, look at all these planes over here. They're American. They're fast. This exists, so why pick this up? But if you need to round out something that just turns better than everything else for this lineup, it's good. K84, brain dead. Don't pick these up. These are dog shit, especially at 8.0. Any Thunderjet sucks. Shenyang F5 is going to be solid at 9.3, but it's just like the F86 F40. You don't dodge the Ariete matchmaker, and the Ariete just kind of griefs the hell out of you. But you are a MiG-17 with an afterburner, and you do get basically A9B equivalent. So you do get a little bit of utility. A5C, I don't have strong opinions about this. I think in the down tier days, it's pretty solid. You do have countermeasures. You're kind of like the MiG-19 flight model at home. Some people like this. I haven't flown enough. I'm not going to play it. Kind of like, test flight, make your own decision. J7D, on the other hand, this is a straight upgrade to the MiG-21 as far as I'm concerned, mainly because you have better missiles like the PL7s, the PL5s. I think are pretty solid compared to the R60Ms. You do only get 4 of them, but these are a little bit more reliable to get kills with. And at 11.3, you're just at the old tier that the MiG-21 BIS was at, and the MiG-21 BIS has got moved down. So if you're gonna like grind the Chinese tech tree, and this goes on sale, this is gonna be pretty reliable for at least for sim. Moving on to Italy, and my voice is getting really tired at this point, so we're just gonna kind of go through here. All this stuff is mid. Mid. If you like Spitfires, this is a good pickup. Good pickup if you want to have a 109. The 109s are good. G55 is good. These planes basically do the same thing for this, like the same role as far as grinding goes. The G2 is close enough to the F4 in turn performance. This is kind of like one of the lighter 109s. The G55 is a G55 test flight. They fly just like the G55s do in AirRB, but a little bit better, a little bit better turn. Good guns, but it's slow. But you dive on people and then they can't get away. So very easy. Ariete, most pay-to-win plane in the game. Just buy this and grind through the whole entire tech tree, and then go take a shower afterwards. These two, I don't recommend them. Don't pick them up. F104s are not in a good spot right now, and the AMX, this is just a worse version of this thing. Why buy this? And I don't know that this is going to go on sale because I think this is new anyways. Going on to France, skip everything because it's France. No. For France, P47, it's P47. Same thing, same caveats. 3.7 P47 Razorback, bad propeller, don't buy. Yak 3, easy pickup. One of the most versatile 4.7s of the game. Really suited to the way the game plays. You'll like this one. And it gets you out of all of the French props because all the French props are like really not very good. SO8000, quirky midmobile, don't buy this. 84, if you play ground, it's probably good. In sim, using this as a fighter is probably better than using most of these other things as a fighter for the tier. So not going to say no. Seahawk Mark 50. This is brand new. It's not on sale. But if this went on sale in the future, this is kind of a seal cover. People like playing 8.0 to 7.0 with fast, good plane and shooting 9Bs at things. And we'll move on to Sweden. And if the Vielmersky is on sale, pick up the Vielmersky. If it's not in the store, pick up the G6. The G6 is a G6. It does G6 things. It does 109 things. The 109 at 4.7, this is probably one of the better 4.7s in the game. This will teach you how to play the game. If you learn how to use it, it's easy enough to fly, but it does have like 109 quirks. So you kind of get like a good mixture of something that's close to brain dead, but does require like more than 2 brain cells to use. Everything else, props for Sweden are really mid. Like these are mid. These are mid. The Buffalo that is up in the tree, gotta find it. This plane is really good if you want to talisman something. Maybe talisman this. J26. This is Dookie Dogwater. This is just a slow P51 at 5.0. Moving back down here, the sub. People bombing this. I don't know. I don't recommend it. The A32A, the Rotterdam, pretty sure it just has an afterburn, and this is just one of those planes that is giga fast, has quad Hispanos, and at 9.0 is probably kind of busted, but kind of boring to play. But I mean, you don't really have like a lot of good choices here. J35XS, if it's on sale, it did get moved down in sim. You only have 6 pops of countermeasures, and at 11.0, a lot of things have all aspect missiles. MiG-21 BIS has all aspect missiles, and it has 6 of them. So you can defeat every single MiG-21 BIS missile for one of them, and then die to the second one. So it's still going to be solid because you do have think up to 6 of the AIM-9Js, which means if you realize that you're on the clock, you just fly in supersonic, shoot all your missiles off. You'll probably get 2 kills, go back to base, and you'll be good. Okay, so moving on to Israel. Israel doesn't have a lot of options. We have the Wisemans. This is good. This is an LF9 at 5.0. It's also going to be solid in AirRB. Skip this. It's not worth it. The Kafir Canard is going to be solid. It has 9Gs. It has countermeasures. It's going to be okay. On the other hand, if you have the Kernas, if you already have this unlocked at 10.7 with AIM 9Gs, it's also going to be solid. And I think that this is arguably as good, if not better than this, at a better tier. So I would probably look at talismaning this. Now, with all of that being said, kind of going backwards from Israel down to USA, looking at things to talisman as kind of like our rank 8 premiums. The Nets is going to be solid as kind of like going forward at 13.0. It's kind of mid, but it does fight 12.7 and down, and it does fight on blue side, so it's kind of just really kind of brain dead easy. Same thing with the Baz. The Baz is an F16 or F15A, so you get 9M, so I'd probably talisman this, because going forward this is going to be pretty easy to play, because I don't expect Gaijin to kind of move SimBRs around anytime soon. Same thing, 13.0, JAS 39A. Even if they add something over here, in Sim, the JAS 39A with a gajillion countermeasures and AIM 9Ms, very easy to talisman and expect to be grinding to the whatever they add to the trees. France, same thing. I've already talisman the Mirage 2000 CS4. CS5 is easy to talisman. This plane here, the 5000 or the 2005F, is probably pretty future-proof with the way that it is right now. F16A at 13.0 fills the same niche as the Gripen. You get 9Ms, 13.0, you fly around, you shoot 9Ms at things. So pretty future-proof. Down here, ADF 13.0 is going to be okay. 12.7 MiG-29 is also going to be okay. Not like I would kind of wait and see. Maybe talisman this, because this is, I mean, it's a Gripen. It has a gajillion countermeasures. It has the AMRAMs. It's the best Gripen in the game, and I don't see any new Gripen coming out that's going to be better. And this will probably also be good for grinding through all of this to get to the Typhoon if you already had this. But Gripens are pretty, I think, are pretty future-proof right now. Going through the Chinese tree, I don't. Same thing. F-16s with the way that this tier works, these are going to be solid. J-10, because it's the newest thing, is probably reasonably future-proof. Has good situational awareness, good radar. Unless they add like things with like meteor missiles, and then these planes are going to get seal clubbed on. I don't see anything changing. Japan, F-16A, F-15J, the first one. These are good for talismaning for like future. That's if you want like a pseudo rank 8 premium in case they add new stuff over here. These are going to be solid. And let's see, Britain. Really, I think the Bison's probably one of the best options here. I probably wouldn't talisman anything in here right now. Eventually the Eurofighter should come at the end of this, but this is like right now this is probably the worst Gripen because it has darters. But I mean, still a Gripen. Would not talisman though. If you have the Bison, use the Bison. This thing, okay. If you like the Gripens, whatever, talisman everything. Russia. If you have the 23 ML, pretty much future-proof for the time being. None of these planes are all that great. If you do want to talisman something to play at this tier, the Yak 141 is probably your best option. But And we go here. Same thing, Germany. MiG-29G. Pretty future-proof. This is the best MiG-29 in the game because you do have R-73s and you do have R-27ERs, but you do fight on red side. You do kind of get farmed by F-15As. So if you do like the 29G, if you can deal with the flight model the way that it currently is, because it's probably not getting changed anytime soon, sure. And then we move on to USA. USA has the same stuff. F-20 Goog, F-14, pretty Goog. All these planes are Goog. So talisman this thing. Don't talisman this thing. Talisman this thing. These planes here, I would wait and see. Wait and see. That's pretty much it.